Let's unmute that.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Unmute.
Hello. So we're gonna have a good show tonight.
Yes.
So
welcome.
we're looking forward to our guests coming on here. We're gonna have fun, y'all, and we're gonna talk about thriving through life storms and relationships. And we got
about to get real.
It's about to get real, y'all.
This couple is like on fire. Like we've been trying to get them here.
Yep. For a long time.
Yes, we're gonna have a good time. So,
but check us out tonight on this BG2 Live with Dennis and Lonnie.
Every time I hear that opening, I want to
get your gig.
Get jiggy.
Get jiggy with
it. Yes. Well, we welcome so much to B2G Live. We're so happy that you're tuning in with us tonight. We have an amazing topic tonight, thriving through life storms in relationships.
Right.
That could be marriages. That could be your coworkers. That's across the board.
Yes.
With your children, all across the board. So we're definitely going to deep dive into that. But we want to introduce this couple. No further delay. I want to go right into it.
Yes.
We have Vince and Ashley Thomas. They are dedicated to empowering leaders and building stronger communities. Together they founded and they pastor the Outlet Community Church. Now, Vince has a background in business administration from Jackson State University and extensive leadership experience. He's licensed and an ordained minister and adjunct professor at the Urban Leadership at Oglethorpe University. I didn't know that about. Wow,
that's a bunch of educated, boy.
Man, it keeps going on.
Just so smart.
Just so
smart.
I tell you, smart people.
Yes.
He holds degrees from Rhema Bible College and Beulah Heights University.
Yes.
Now he's smart, but then he got a smart wife.
Yes.
He chose well.
Yes.
He chose well.
Yes, right,
Here we go.
Right.
Ashley, she's driven by a lifelong call to ministry, has served alongside Vince since 2007. Longevity. I love that. Focusing on empowering women, missions, and biblical education. She holds degrees, y'all. Mm-hmm. Belhaven University. Mm-hmm. And is that Charis Bible School? I hope I did that right. And it's also licensed and ordained ministers. All right.
Yeah.
Together they founded the Outlet Consulting LLC, a leadership development organization. And on top of this, y'all, all this education and leadership, they're married since 2010. Woo!
I know, 15
and
years.
Look at that. They are proud parents of Asher, and they reside in the metro Atlanta area. We want to introduce to some and I don't know.
Introduce to many.
There you go. Whatever. I'm trying to do some old church. But we want to introduce you all to them. So welcome them. We're going to pull them in and have them come on in. Welcome.
Hi. We're so excited to be here tonight with y'all.
So glad to have you both.
You hear that intro?
Oh, I know.
Their intro go hard. I was like, let's go.
I'm like, I'm taking it back to Detroit. Having a good time. Yeah, we like to have fun. So
yes,
we are so excited to have you both on here and to deep dive into some conversation. And we like to always ask before we get started. I know we did an introduction, but is there something that we left out that you would like to share? Maybe to that tonight?
I don't know.
They did a really
Y'all
great
did a
job.
Wonderful job.
Who are those people?
Man.
They sound amazing.
Hey, that was wonderful.
Well, I would love to know. I'm really one that loves to hear a love story. I love to see how, because it said what 2000 and what it say 7 or
10.
Well, we got married in 2010.
Yes.
We started dating in 2006.
Yes.
Okay.
So we were just 5 and 6 years old. Very, very young.
Right. Very young.
Very young.
No, I mean, it's surreal to us to think about how long we've been together.
Yeah,
when I'm listening to my satellite radio and they're like, this throwback jam. And I'm like, we were dating when this song came out. Right. This song goes hard. No. It was Mississippi. So actually 2005, I saw her at a church service and she was sitting 3 pews ahead of me. I'll sit in the last row.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't judge your mama. Don't judge.
He wasn't.
Right.
And I saw the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in the world walk in the church. And I pointed to my friend next to me and I was like, I'm gonna marry her. And it's just like ain't no way that a woman that beautiful is in real life. And so true gangster status. I waited a year before I built up the courage to talk to her. So because I'm gangster. I waited a whole
gangster like that.
Well, okay, so Ash and I, although we're 2 years apart, grade-wise, we're 3 years apart.
Yes.
And what made it worse is I had just started volunteering in the youth ministry.
And I was a youth.
And Ashley was a youth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's getting real dirty out here after dark. Here we go. Little R. Kelly.
So we had to wait.
Listen,
Wait a little bit.
he said age ain't nothing but a number. But
and look at what he is today.
So anyway, so I said this would be real bad. I just got in youth ministry with my grand opening and my grand closing, so I probably can't talk to her, but she is gorgeous. So maybe about 6-7 months after I saw her, a mutual friend of ours said, "Hey, this Ashley girl thinks you're cute." And I was like, "Well, pull her up on Facebook. Let me see. She got
Facebook was a thing.
She got a MySpace, so I was like, pull her up.
Oh my goodness!
Let me see." And so I saw it, and I was like, "She think I'm cute?" I was like, "Oh," and then they were like, "I think she got a boyfriend." I said, "What he got to do with me? Like, you straight up gangster. What he got to do with me?" So a couple of months passed after that before I made any initial effort. And ironically, the day, because I had been working in the ministry, I think at the time for like 3 months, where I worked in a volunteer capacity for a year up to that point. And then I think I was on staff like 3 months, and like nothing was happening. I thought that, when you ask God for what you want, especially for a spouse, for a mate, they would just show up, and like there was no prospects, no nothing. But I got so fulfilled in doing the call of God that I was driving to North Park Mall in Jackson. And I said, "Lord, if I never get married, I'm happy doing what you've called me to do."
Oh, wow.
As I was going to the mall, well, I get out the car at the mall, and that fine girl is in line at Chick-fil-A. And I said, "Oh, forget that prayer. I gotta figure this one out." So
not forget the prayer.
Yeah.
Right, drop the prayer.
I knew she wasn't one of those, "Hey, mom, what's up?" kind of girls that I could walk up to. So I had a friend who knew a friend reach out to her, and I got that number that way.
That was very true. So you actually told the story correct. It's always interesting when men tell the story.
Yeah, I say that.
We forget details.
One little detail exaggerated in some areas. I was like, I don't remember that. But you actually told it decently outside of a few parts. But for the most part,
what was the part that was wrong? I'm a gangster.
You're from Detroit, man. You're from Detroit. You're from the D.
My street cred on the social media
definitely was not a gangster. But
I'm not pulling that vibe.
Other than that, you told the story pretty good. But I think that goes back to something that you said. You were saying, if I never get what I've been praying for, Lord, I'll still do your will. And I honestly think that's just where God meets us a lot of times, is whenever we get to the end of ourselves, that's where he finally can step in, So it was so funny. That same story I have, not the same story about us meeting, but that same space that he was in. I remember being in a really horrible ministry situation we were in. And I was like, I don't want to do this no more. And I remember the Lord telling me, if I asked you to do this, for 10 more years, the rest of your life, could you do it? And I was like, I bust out crying. And I said, well, it will be hard, Lord, but I want to obey you. And then he said, Ashley, why don't you think I love you enough to get you to where you need to be? Like, why don't you think that my love is enough to see that you don't like this situation? This is just but a moment. This too shall pass. You'll be in a different season. So it's so interesting that you said that God steps in right there. That's just how he works.
That's how he works. He is so
He is.
Just awesome. Just, oh my God. That's such a great parallel between the two of those stories.
That's good.
Wow. He does meet you right where you just like, Lord, if I don't, if this is all that it is, then I'll be happier where I'm at right now. I'll be faithful. And then you see this sweet lady in the Chick-fil-A line, and you just, that's
what I gotta close that deal.
Right, that closed the deal. That was you, Father, speaking. That was right. You.
My pleasure.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Definitely. Well, that's so good. I love the fact that even when you were speaking, Vince, you were talking, it was detailed, very detailed, with just remembering your love story. Because we all have our own, everybody has their own journey and love stories and how they met and all these different things. But to still remember that, it keeps it so fresh in your relationship. And we hold on to it. And we laugh because I saw Ashley looking at you the whole time, like, okay, how is he going to tell this story?
I know,
I do the same thing with him. Because he talks about, I saw her up there singing and she had on a Move Something dress.
Absolutely.
And the story gets different every,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like, it wasn't a Move Something, but he said it was a Move Something.
It was a Move Something. Remember Luke? Yeah, Move Something. That's what I seen. That caught my attention quick, boy. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's just fun seeing that.
This when they kind of hop back in the spirit.
I stay in the spirit.
I'm trying.
I stay in the spirit. Now you didn't ask me what spirit, but I stay in it. I stay in it now.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So no, what we're gonna do is play a clip. We do that on here. You know that Pastor Vince. So we play a clip. So we're gonna play a clip and then we want to get y'all thoughts on that. So let me pull this up and let me play this clip. We're gonna do this one.
That one. Okay,
we're gonna share it.
You got the sound. All right.
Okay, we're gonna do this right here. Okay.
When couples come through that, how do they come through it better than they were before?
I mean, when the threats come at you, doing whatever you can to get honest, to get vulnerable, and get that space is the soil for forgiveness and to move back toward one another, to get on the dry sand and to move back toward one another. Easier said than done, and we all know it. And so it all, it comes out of my mouth and I go, oh, that's so what it is. It's amazing to me how we were at a place a few years ago that we are feeling a lot of apartness, and the drift has happened big time, and that we had moved and there were realities we were carrying. But what was true for me, and it was just one of those, I was not being honest with myself or inviting other people in of how much I was giving toward ministry that I love. It was good work. It's a good thing, but it was becoming an ultimate thing in my heart.
Was there a part we missed on there, or was that it? Was that the full statement?
Yeah, that he was talking about coming through a situation, and it really challenged their marriage, and how he basically got lost in ministry, and got lost in ministry so much. You know how you allow ministry and things to define you, but you lose your identity of who you really are in your marriage. That's what he talked about.
Okay.
That makes sense. That makes sense, y'all.
It does.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, she trying to get my mama on here now. Hey, mama.
I got enough. It's like I got on.
So I know. Me and Vince have talked a lot about ministry and how he always says your ministry happened by accident. So I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you your flowers now. So Ashley, you're on here, so I'm gonna give you your flowers while you're on here. You got an awesome man of God.
Yes.
He's a mentor to me. He's a mentor to me, and I brag on him a lot to my wife.
Yes.
And so he's someone I've watched from afar in ministry, seen him up close. Even when you all started your church, me and my wife, I told Vince this. I said when he used to get up and minister on grace.
Oh yes,
and I'll talk about grace.
He would always talk
and
about
we always say he's gonna end up starting his own church. That's what we always say. He's gonna start their own ministry. So just want you all to speak to the challenges that you all had to overcome to get where you're at today. I know, because I know you started off somewhere else, but to be where you're at today, what are some of the things that you learned? I guess it's a two-part question. What did you learn? How did you overcome those challenges? The process in that, and what did you learn through that process?
That's loaded.
Yeah,
Not one that's
I know. I should do one at a time. So
yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is man. I don't think we have publicly talked about this ever. I know we've lived it privately.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've ever publicly worked through our process with everybody on the outside world. So thank you for asking, and we're going to be as honest as we know how to be. So
Yeah.
Yeah. This is honest. Yeah.
I think that the turning point for me in the very beginning, Bedrock, 'cause I look back when I started church, I look at a man who was broken but still walking by faith. When I look back at that guy, 7 years ago, he's a shell. He is reeling, but he is by faith moving. But none of that is even remotely possible because everybody's like, well, I need to wait until I heal before I get into, really it's the right relationships that are healing. And healing is progressive. So you'll wait till you go back to be with the Lord. If you're waiting till you're 100% healed. But the defining moment was coming home on Valentine's Day of 2018 and, telling my wife, I said, babe, kind of got to let you know, I don't have a job anymore. And I don't know what I did. I'm not sure. I know I'm the only one working right now. But I know that in all my conversations and everything that I've done, I remain above board and remain honorable before you. And she said, and I'll never forget this, because this is what gave me the courage, even to this day, to always trust God and always live in a place of honesty and by your values. She said, Vince, if you stood honorable before God and you told the truth and you walked in love and something like this happens, she says, I don't care if we find ourselves together under a bridge homeless. I'd rather be under that bridge in our integrity than sitting in comfort in a lie. And I was like, I guess for me, in my way of thinking, I was like, oh, well, shoot, my bar's pretty low then, we're not doing all right. But it gave me the freedom to trust God and not have to lie to anyone or anything, and to be able to, okay, now I really need to, for our family together, we need to hear God for ourselves. So that was my defining moment.
Yeah, it's so interesting when things like that happen. You always wonder, like, what am I going to do? Like, am I going to be this great person of faith, or am I going to be like, oh Lord, like the Lord coming down on me? But I remember when he told me, I really felt like the Lord was giving or leading me to give him permission to be who God's called him to be. But in that, there is a lot that has to transpire and happen for the both of us, because I think during that time, everything that happened, that happened. We couldn't control that. But what can we control? Like, we're here now. We're here now. And so that's for any couple, anybody. You got fired, the husband acted a mess, the wife acted a mess, the kids acted a mess. You're here now.
We're here.
Right. We're here. Right.
Because we can't go back. So all we can do is
right. Moving forward.
So I think that was the process God was getting us to move on, was I'm calling you guys forward. And so in that process, there was so much inner healing that had to take place. You find that when you're angry at people, you're really not angry at them. There is a lack of faith in you somewhere, and it's causing you to deflect on everybody else. But it's not really that person. It's not what they did, and it's not what they said. It's not. It is truly your lack of faith to trust God in an area.
That's good.
And so that was, I think, for Vince and I, when we got really, I think it was a couple months, I want to say.
Yeah.
This was, and I guess you said this, it just does take time to process things, to heal. But the thing is, even while we were healing, we were still walking forward. So God had told us, hey, start this church. Now we're still healing in the process, right? Like we're still getting ourselves together.
We did not want to take the route we took.
Oh no.
I don't wish scratch planting on
anybody. You better know that you know that you know.
And, you know, it's one, nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done kind of moment. I grew up in mega ministry, and I saw how they established churches where, you know, when it's your time, I mean, they're going to send you out, they're going to support you, they're going to give you staff. And that was real. And I also knew of people who went out and did and started. And unfortunately, I saw what that meant for them. And I was like, that's not, no, oh, thank you, Lord, for not calling me to that.
Right.
But,
Seeing both sides.
But there were things that God did to take away the pity points that I was trying to have. Like God was too good for me to talk about how bad people have been.
Yeah, that's good.
The reality was God makes it undeniably known, especially when you trust him, that he is with you. And so you got two options when you move with him. Either we're going to march forward or we're going to stay focused on Egypt. And the blessing is not in Egypt, because you prayed to get out of Egypt. The blessing is the promised land. But even with the promised land, there's still giants along the way.
That's true.
So, you know, you only have so much energy. And the biggest thing is prior to that moment, because the reality is people get fired from their job all the time. You know, it is not, or people get laid off. Like right now, like couples who are in the federal government or in particular organizations are, you know, on pins and needles. People's retirements are shrinking. Pressure inside the house. Like, all of these things are outside of our control. So we can't point the fingers and then kind of rehearse what whoever we think. We're here, as my wife said, we're here now. So the question is, what are we going to do to make sure the family goes forward? So for the two of us, I think prior to that point, I'm sure it's a scripture somewhere, but it says something to the effect of, you don't build your house in the middle of the storm. You need to start working on your emergency practices well before the storm shows up. So at the time that we actually hit like a real storm, we were 3 years into getting emotionally healthy in our spirituality.
We had just started that book. We were reading that book. We were going through, and I think we were on a
word fast.
A word. Was it 40
day word fast.
40-day word fast. What explains that?
Yeah. So there's a book on Kindle. It's the 40-day word fast, and the biggest thing, you know, we'll kind of. We had like a funny, or not funny, but like an illustration of an emergency relationship preparedness kit that we wanted to share with everybody, similar to how, you know, in your house or in your car, if something were to happen, you know, you got a first aid kit. You can go
first aid kit, right?
You need to have one in your relationship. You need to have one in your marriage. And the first one is the flashlight. You need to have a flashlight, which is the word and the spirit of God. So when I was, you know, doing marriage counseling early on, I was trying to make it cool and, you know, like, you know, just real make it fun. But then I saw these relationships and marriages just busting up. There's no way around not having a strong relationship in the word and through prayer. And so it's not about you knowing every book of the Bible. It's about you creating that awareness in the spirit. So in the spirit, I would say things that
he still does.
I didn't know what I was saying until I look back at it. So I have mentors, and I would talk to my mentors, and I would say in December of 2017, I said, I've just been praying, and I just know that I don't know where I'm gonna be, but I know I won't be here in June of 2018. They said, oh, you crazy. I said, I don't know where I'm gonna be. I just know I won't be here in June of 2018. And then January, most churches have a season of prayer. Well, Lord said, I didn't ask you to get out of your fasting time. So when the season of prayer stopped,
We were still going.
we were still going.
Yeah.
And he said, there's something I want you to pray out. There's something I want you to pray through. And
Yes.
part of that was, I want you now to do a 40-day word fast, which means that you cannot talk negative. You cannot talk toxic. You cannot not have any unforgiveness during this fast. And so at the peak of when we should have had all type of venom, all type of things,
Right, right.
we couldn't do it because the Spirit of God, His grace,
Yeah,
was teaching us to do the godly thing.
for sure.
And what happens is, whenever you come out of something, you're forming the foundation of what you're going into. And so if you're coming out of something always talking about what was, you're going to bring a toxic past into God's glorious future.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Makes
And that
sense.
flashlight, man, I'm gonna tell you, when it's dark, you need a light. And I think at that moment for us, we had no plan B. You know, we didn't have anybody to bail us out. I wasn't working. He was the only income we were receiving at the time. I was full-time student. So we're talking about, we couldn't eat. Like it wasn't like, oh, I can't get my nails done. It was like, no, what we gonna eat? Like, you know, it was like real life.
That's real.
Living survival mode. You know, that's a good word. We were in survival mode to figure out how we were going to go forward. And, you know, God's word can be such a light in a dark place. And we were, and we go back and we rehearsed kind of that, and we both had journals, and man, that helped us too, to get a lot of the venom and venting out. Yeah, so that we wouldn't spew it on each other or on others.
Or the people.
Because when you're in leadership, you want to make sure you're leading and not bleeding, right? And so if people are under me and all I'm doing is sharing what happened and I'm rehearsing what did, I'm meditating on that, all they're getting is my pain. I'm not really propelling them into their purpose by sharing them my pain. I'm not. And so we want to make sure as leaders, even when you're going through something, that's the toughest thing sometimes too, because you're going through, but you still gotta move forward. You gotta think forward. You cannot go back. So just wanted to make sure we stayed in that place. But the word of God was so powerful for both of us. I think we were functioning. We were doing what we but we were still very much healing together and apart. Because there are certain things I think God was speaking in His heart, that certain other things I needed in my heart. And so it was a intentional time. If I could say that. It was very intentional.
When you're going through a crisis, you have to be intentional of your time, your connection, your relationships. Everything has to have a purpose in crisis. If it doesn't have a purpose, it's going to be extra dead weight, and you got to let that go.
You got to let it go. You got to let it go.
That's
That's exactly what we did.
That is so rich. I mean, even just when you first start talking, you said when you came home and said that you didn't have your job and all these different things, and that key moment right there, your response, and we've talked about this on our platform before, is how we handle things as wives or as spouses. Let's say as spouses, how we handle disappointments, how we handle things that come a certain way. And you have to say, Lord, what do you want me to say in this moment? Because that was a defining moment right there. And a lot of spouses don't know how to handle that properly. And if you mismanage that moment, it just changes certain things in your marriage. Because now I'm like, I'm not bringing anything else to you, or I'm hiding it, when we should have relationships where we're transparent, where we're authentic, we're vulnerable with each other. We should be able to show everything, our scars, everything. But the minute I show you a scar and you're like, well, why did you do that? And da. I won't bring it to you anymore. Then you'll bring it to an outside source. And that's how things start unraveling inside of your marriage. But I do love the word when you mentioned the word fast.
That was good.
Yeah, we might be incorporating that.
Yeah,
I love that, because that is so intentional.
Yeah, that's intentional. And I know we have not been as fasting with our words when we go through a crisis. We run to God, but we're doing it in anger. And so God kind of gotta we gotta get our mind quiet, our heart quiet, and say we need to get this thing quiet because we need to hear from God for the next step. You know,
Definitely.
so but I did like the fact that when she came to you, you said Ashley, she didn't tear you down, she built you up.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you're dealing with your spouse, like I think the wife had showed me Instagram. I should have had it.
Yeah.
Wife had an Instagram post where a young lady actually, her husband, I guess, lost his job.
The husband
Lost his job. He lost
Yeah.
his job. So what she did was, rather than be there for him and say we gonna do this and that, she said my money's my money, and she got with his friend.
Yeah. It just started
She
unraveling.
got with her husband's friend. Since he had money, she got with her husband's friend because she wanted to be financially secure. She said, I can't afford to be broke. Since you're broke and you lost your job, it's his fault he lost his job. He said, I got laid off or whatever. That's your fault. So she said, forget that. I gotta live. And she got with his friend.
Wow.
You know, she fled based on emotion, based on, you know, being in that crisis, and she allowed herself to allow her emotions to go the other way and leave the covenant, her husband, to get with his best friend.
So that's why we're talking about thriving through
Thriving,
life storms.
life
Because
storms.
we thrive even in the midst of storms, because you're gonna have things that are gonna rock your boat. We have stories. I know y'all have stories. Like you just shared that, and that's just one of several stories that y'all have to share. That thriving through it. And we always say, like, sometimes you walk in with a limp because you get, it's that walk. I'm walking, moving forward, but
you moving with a limp.
But I don't want to bleed on people, and that is that was so key right there.
Leading and not bleeding.
Leading and not bleeding. All over people. Every time they talk to you, that's what you're talking about, and it's constantly. That's all you talk about. You don't talk about nothing else but your pain. Not how God delivered you from it, but the pain. So You have something, babe?
Oh no, I don't got anything else. Let me see. Let me see what she got. The wife and friend are. Oh,
yeah, they are the ones.
Yeah, they are.
But it was an open. That was talking about the couple that we were just talking about. The couple
we're talking about, yeah.
So it was, and she really felt like, actually, to add to that story,
right?
He was off from work. He didn't have a job, and she felt like, and he said, well, after he said, well, can you pay the bills while I'm, looking for a job? And she was like, why should I pay the bills? And then she wanted her money back. If she did pay the bills, I want my money back. And so it was just this separate already, very much separate lives that they were both living. So
and so that's the thing that we want our listeners to realize is, it's okay to say you want to get married. You see that person and it make your liver quiver, you make your heart shake and stuff like that. But you really get the best out of your marriage when you go through something. I mean, you got your highs, you got your mountaintop moments, but you really find out the love that you have for each other is when you're in those valley moments, because it brings you two together. I mean, we've been married going on 24 years this year. 3 kids in the middle. Yeah. so 15 years, double digit. So we're not breaking up. But the thing is, a lot of things have hit that boat.
Yeah.
A lot of things have hit. A lot of things have tested our marriage. A lot of ups and downs. But we never made divorce an option. And never it was nothing that ever said, well, I'm just gonna leave her alone. I'm gonna leave the kids. It was never an option. Because one thing I don't want to do because as leaders of your home, we tend to bleed too. And one thing about it is when we came from, I hate to say that word, that other situation, previous situation, he's saying that, but we were bleeding too.
Yeah.
And I was bleeding on my family.
We were leaking everywhere. Like every time we went somewhere, we was leaving leaks.
I was cut.
Yeah.
But in the midst of all the bleeding, God's mercy and his grace was still there to help us clean it up and us to stay together. And we are so happy to be on the other side of that and still growing in it and just blessed to be going where we're going. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Now I know you mentioned, that was a church situation, but as far as even when you're going through things, and I think Dennis just mentioned this,
has it grown you closer to each other? And those, like he mentioned something about in those hard moments, is that where you get closer to each other and really find out a lot about each other, each other's strengths and weaknesses and things like that, so you can pray over each other and support each other?
It didn't. Yes, to answer your question, yes, now, but it didn't always start that way.
Okay.
I think when we first got married, there are a lot of things, well, I could speak for me. There are a lot of things that I should have been trusting God for, but I was looking to him to fill the gaps.
Yeah.
And your spouse can never fill a gap that's made for God, ever.
That's so true.
And so it was certain things like I had ambitions, right? Like I wanted to do certain things, and I wanted him to put me in position so that I can do the thing, right? As a husband, so that I could do this.
Right.
And that wasn't his job. That wasn't his job. And it was, I said it before, my lack of faith in God in an area to put me where he needs me to be. So I don't have to put that pressure on my husband, because when you put pressure like that on people, it will crush you and them. It's going to crush the whole relationship, be it marriage, be it family, whatever, be it coworker, or employer. It will crush them if you think it's their job to make you do something or be something that God's called you to do. It's not their job.
And that's so true. That's so true.
And so when I stopped putting that pressure on him, that is when he felt the relief to say, okay, now we can do this together. And because I think you really felt a real pressure come off you.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah.
I think at the same time, often couples get into it because they're the same person. They just do things differently.
True.
And so she put a certain pressure on me, but I was putting a certain pressure on her. Because in my mind, especially being in ministry, ministry, your wife has to be a certain way, and your wife has to your wife has to, and we need your wife. And I
wasn't doing none of that, y'all. I was rebellious.
He said
hard-headed. But I remember getting to the point where she's not nobody else's wife but my wife.
Right.
Like that's my wife. So I let my wife be my wife, and my job is to cover and support my wife. And I remember for me, it was a weight that dropped off trying not to manage my wife and manage other perceptions of her and how she looked, how she responded. And little did I know, all these things were setting us up for where we are today. Sure. So now I don't care what you think. Like, what you think about my wife? I don't care. Like, I know what I think about my wife. Let her be her. Because the expectations that people have on pastors are nuts. I had someone, I tell the story all the time. I had someone fall out with me for a year because they had an argument with me in their head that they lost, and then told me about it after that year. I remember after Ashley got home from giving birth, she was in labor for 40 hours. 3 days later, a member blew up her phone and Ashley didn't get to it fast enough. And this member snapped on Ashley and put an ugly post on social media about my wife when she was at home after 3 days after she gave birth. Now that's the time where I put aside that pastor hat and I was like, address.
There you go.
Say that.
There you go.
I'm gonna go see about you. It's like you don't know, and so I can't force her to live up to the standards of 700 different members. She can't force me to do something that's outside of my salary as a pastor because she wants to do. And at the end of the day, my job is to support her. And both of our jobs is to trust the Lord. So that's so throughout the years, like you know, we've had public things, but we've also had private things.
battles.
Most
Yeah.
people don't know that prior to Asher, we had
Mhm.
3 consecutive miscarriages
Yep.
prior to Asher. Most people don't know that Asher is a
A
miracle.
miracle baby. He is.
We had a consult on a Friday with a fertility specialist
Mhm.
for us to begin coming in and Asher to begin to doing different battery of tests. She'd already been through a series of tests. Then they were starting to test me and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Fertility specialist, and he was looking at all these things and saying, you know, we don't know why you all can't have kids. We don't know why kids aren't coming full term.
Yeah.
We just don't know. And these are battles that you face privately.
Yes.
Nobody,
Yes.
you know, the fact of the matter is, if I'm being real honest, don't nobody care. don't
No, that's true.
don't-
You know, you
people
think
are going through their own
their
stuff.
own things, and a lot of times people are naturally selfish, especially in a time of crisis, because
Yeah.
all you can think about is your situation, what you have going on, and
Right.
you're not looking outside of that to see how anybody else takes it, how anybody else feels. But regardless of that, as leaders, we have to know that balance, right? Like we give a lot. But we need to pull back and just receive, then we need to do that. And I think that's the trick that most leaders haven't learned yet.
Yeah.
They're give till burnout happens. And then it happens publicly, or it happens lustfully in a sexual way, or it happens, you know, other vices, their flesh and vices start coming out. And it's the whole scandal on TMZ somewhere.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, leaders really need to learn that balance of when I give a lot, but when we also need to pull back and get vulnerable with someone and mentors, people that we can be, you know, real with, honest with, share the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Even in your marriage. Creating safety in your marriage. You know, there's a thing out on social media called "We Listen and We Do Not Judge." All that is communicating that whatever you say is a safe place without judgment.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it starts at home, and then it branches out to other places.
But I will say, going through crisis and even communicating in crisis, that's so, it's important how you communicate in crisis. Because what I learned is I can be vulnerable with Vince. I can share my feelings with Vince, but I also have to learn that he's healing too. And the man that I was talking to in that space wasn't the man that I married before, and it's not the man that's gonna come out of this. So learning how to talk to him without triggering him was a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother,
We're going through it together. And so we're asking the questions. Okay, God, why is this happening? That was my problem. Like, why is this happening to us? Like, remember what? And then how are we gonna get out of this? But he didn't know those answers. So for me to come to him with those answers, that wasn't gonna help him none. Because he was having the same answers I'm having.
Right.
So it's like learning how to be vulnerable and just share with him my feelings without triggering the questions that we both don't understand at this time. That was a big thing for us, learning how not to attack each other, you know, while going through situations. Because we could have said in that time, during crisis, it's so easy to turn inward. Especially on people that love you, because you know they're going nowhere, right? So it's easy to let all my lashing out on you, because I know you still gonna love me. But right. But regardless, the lashing still hurts nonetheless.
It does.
And so we had to be careful with our words. Even being vulnerable, you have to be careful.
You have to be very vulnerable.
Yeah, because very but
careful with your words.
Careful with your words, but that's amazing that you say, you know, towards him, because that's self-inflicted. I mean, you all are one, and that's self-inflicted pain that you're giving into your own self when you're doing it to your spouse. And I'm gonna tell you this, Ashley, I never really talked to you before.
I know. What is it?
We never kicked it. You know, I was kicking with that man right there with Vince. But I will say this, you know, just hearing my wife and you, it is very important to marry the right woman. I mean, like to marry to marry the right spouse, you know. And so a lot of times some people are so much in a hurry to have legal sex, to get their freak on, to you know, to have a warm bed, but they don't know the price in marrying the right person, to marrying the right wife, husband. They don't know the time it takes. So I'd rather, and I said this, I'd rather be old marrying the right one than being young marrying the wrong one. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing, to marry the right woman, you know, that we Vince men have, it is so vital. Because one thing you all do, you all are real. You all cover the vital parts. I mean, you covered Vince. You know what I'm saying? You covered him because, I mean, you know, mentally, the enemy, he attacks you with so much. You failed, you missed it, and it's like this. And so in that moment, rather than being the agent of Satan, you became an agent. You became a part with the Holy Spirit to cover him and to heal him. And that's what my wife does. My wife covers me. You know what I'm saying? And she makes sure that, you know, okay, babe, let's stay focused. Let's pray about this. Let's look at this from this perspective. It's not me. She's not rattled. It's just she's trying to keep me level, keep me at a place where I'm focused on God.
It goes back to trusting God.
Yeah, go back to trusting God. But I want to play one more clip. I know we got to go to our commercial, but I want to play one more clip. This is a guy that I really, really like, and I'm gonna play the clip. And he talks about marrying the right woman. Let me play that clip.
Got it.
Yeah, I got it. Here we go.
Is it already started up? Yeah, that's what I think. There you go.
As men, we feel that we have to constantly perform, but when you get married to the right woman, you understand that you are a human being. When I'm weak, my wife Nicole comforts me, massages my scalp. I can tell her I'm scared. I'm allowed to feel fear, but I don't succumb to it. As men, we feel that we have to constantly perform.
That's short. But
sweet.
But yeah, just having that space where you could say, you know what, hey, I'm scared of the mug. What we gonna do? Because I think that saying God talked about being Superman. He said a lot of us try to be Superman, and sometimes I think he said, I'm just kind of paraphrasing this. He said sometimes, a lot of times, Superman, his cape tends to be too. He said strangles you to be too tight, where you could just take off the cape. You don't always have to be Superman. You know, Superman need help too. I think I seen a clip recently. I'm going to see that movie, Superman. Seen the trailer recently, right? And so Superman was in the ice. He just got his butt whooped by something. Me and my kid, you know, me and my boys go see some Marvel movies and DC movies. And so he got his butt whooped, and he was bleeding out the mouth. And we're like, what happened to Superman? It's in the trailer. And then all of a sudden he whistled, right? He whistled, right? I forgot the dog's name. Crypto. He whistled to it. What's his dog? His dog is a golden doodle, right? He whistled, and all of a sudden, Crypto came and just grabbed his cape and pulled him all the way to his
the fortress.
His fortress solitude.
I don't know how I know this. I have.
You know that Fortress Solitude.
I have boys. That's all I have to say.
So Fortress Solitude. So he took him. He went and whistled for his dog, and his dog helped him. And so even in that weak, broken moment, you need that help to get you to your fortress, to get your solitude. And I think when they took him there, what caused him to get healed, they shined a whole bunch of light on his body, and he was hurting, but he was receiving the healing he needed by the light you were talking about in the darkness.
Brought that all back around.
That's Superman. So it just let me know the pressure is not on me to be God. I just gotta trust God. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real right there.
That is real. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna play a quick commercial, and we'll be right back with you guys. And so the next time you all we come back, we're gonna have a little Q&A with you guys and ask some questions. Okay.
All right.
Hey, we're Dennis
and Lonnie Crawford.
We are the founders of Better Together Marriage Coaching.
Yes.
Thank you so much for checking us out. We are here for you, and we are here for your marriage.
Yes, with over 20 years of marriage, we've weathered the ups and downs.
Yes.
Do you agree, honey?
I totally agree.
Yes, but we've stayed committed to the Word of God. We would like to provide a spirit-led, judgment-free environment for you. So all we want to do is empower and enlighten and bless your marriage.
We put together biblical wisdom with practical tools so you can embrace accountability as well as thrive, grow, and develop.
Yes, whether you're here as a last resort to save your marriage, or you're just getting started, or hey, you just want to spice things up.
Spice it up.
Yes, Better Together is for you.
We love an opportunity to meet with you, Wilani and I,
Yes.
to get a free 30-minute consultation. Free of charge, a 30-minute consultation. Just click the link below so you can work out a time that works best for you.
Yes, and we want to say this. If you're listening to this, just know that God loves you, He hears you, and He wants nothing but the best for you.
He wants the best for you, so we look forward to meeting you. God bless.
God bless.
Yes, we're back. So with that being said, does anyone have questions out there to ask this lovely couple? I mean, this battle-tested, blessed couple with a thriving, blessed church, the Outlook Community Church over there in Atlanta. They're doing great things for God and great things for ministry. They are the real deal, y'all. They are the real deal. What you see is what you get right here, man. So we're going to see if we got any questions. Okay.
Real deal. I want to talk about real deal. This production quality that
commercials.
I mean, I have seen quality from start to finish. Y'all go ahead.
That is good.
Oh, God is good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm like, oh man, I want to watch this show. Okay. Tell me more.
Tell me more.
We are trying.
We are trying.
I should give some ideas. They giving all this stuff for free. They should say, and for $19.99, you can get baby oil we prayed over to spice things. Call it the Crawford Special. This is what kept us together over 25 years.
Just smear it on the head so you won't choke them out. Amen.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Man.
So we got a Sean. So far, first of all,
Is that Shane? Is that
Sean?
Sean.
Oh, hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean. I saw Miko here earlier.
Hey, Miko.
Yeah, that's your people. Yeah, they're the best. We
Miko.
love them.
We agree.
I appreciate you hanging out so late.
I'm telling you.
Y'all can't saw us after dark.
And she said that was good. Yes. And then we got something from O'Shea Rich. Amen.
Oh, hey, Sharon. What do you do? What do you do? Y'all
And
so kind.
this is one of our daughters.
Spiritual
daughters. Yeah.
This is good.
Yes. And then this is a friend of ours right here.
Yeah.
Miss Wilson right there.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
It is.
Sure.
It is. I mean, they cut away. It was crisp. I was like, this is some good stuff.
We're trying. We're really trying to do some kingdom business. So we're
trying to do it right. Trying to do it right.
Yes. We want to put up your information too. That way, if anybody's in the surrounding Atlanta, Georgia area, definitely come out and check out your ministry. Could you tell us what are your hours on Sunday? Your service times? I'll say service times.
Yeah, typically we're Sundays at 10:30, Wednesdays at 6:30. For Easter, we'll actually have two services, one at 9 and one at 11. So on 420, get high with the Most High is what we say.
It's weed day. I don't know who thought that was a bright idea.
And you know what? I don't. And it's my birthday. 420 falls on.
You came out for the party. You said, "What we doing?
Which how we on?
What we doing?
Amen.
What we doing?"
Yes, 420. This. I'm like, what? Yeah, 420.
Yeah, it's her birthday. Yep.
A lot of things, we're sorting through just a litany of things. God has been so gracious to us, but we're definitely looking forward to all that God has for us, all the things that He's doing. Just very, very excited to see what's happening.
Yeah, we are. And I think through it all, I will tell any ministry leader is that your marriage or your ministry rather is as strong as your marriage, because what happens is your ministry is weighty and it sits on your marriage. And so if it's not strong, it's gonna crumble you. It's gonna crumble your kids. It's gonna crumble everybody. So having a strong marriage, I think, is really what allows us, I believe, to have a really strong ministry. Because if this ain't together, and I can't fake the funk. I don't know about you, Lanika. I can't.
No, can't.
Yeah.
And smile and stuff, and I know it's not good. Y'all gonna know the truth for me. Like I don't say my face will tell it all. Like,
So that's that whole song is written all over your face.
you don't have
You don't have to say a word.
it's bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me,
Yeah.
fix your face, because it be
Fix your face. Fix your face. Fix your face. I'm so glad you said that about leaders, because you said something about the weight of the ministry sits on your marriage. And if you don't have a strong marriage, it will crumble. And that is something that is so true. And I hope people are listening to that.
Please listen to that.
Whatever,
Yeah.
you know, if it's a business, whatever it is, your marriage is your first ministry. You know, that's the first thing. And making sure that you're having those proper boundaries inside of your marriage, making sure that you also take out that time to reset, invest in your marriage. All of these things, you have to keep this tight, because if this is not tight, like you said, everything else starts to crumble. Your children, it just impacts everything. So we tried our best. We noticed when we're at odds, we leave our kids wide open. You know, those different things that we're like, no, we have to be on the same page at all times. You know, we're working through those things and communicating. It's so important.
And then too, you got to realize the enemy don't go on vacation.
No,
when you get married in your ministry, every little thing you can think of will come up, and just I mean, it could be, you know, this person, like you say, you just had a baby, but this person cutting up because that you didn't pick up your text, or you got stuff happening with your kids, and you know, you got stuff happening, just life be life. And so then the enemy would use anything to get an entry point in there to try to distract you off your goal. You know what I'm saying? And so I can lie. Sometimes he's been successful, and most times he's not successful. You know, but you just got to focus on the prize. You got to focus on Jesus and focus on what he's called you to do. I think Vince said something to me a long time ago. He always dropping a lot of nuggets. You know, he told me this one time, and I'll never forget it. He said, and you could correct me. He said, if you're called to do ministry, you will see how it pans out. I think you told me that. I think he said, you see how it pans out.
I believe TJ said, give it a while.
Give it a while.
Give it a while.
Yeah.
Give it a while. If you're called, I mean, you won't be able to shake it. If you're called over time, people at the end of the day, your best response will always be your fruit and not your words. It's going to be what you produce, and you don't have to say anything because your fruit's already speaking for you.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, for anyone in ministry, life, marriage, love, this is all the long game. It is not about short-term success. It's about what are we doing today to help create legacy long-term.
Yes.
And there were opportunities that I could have taken, high-profile people I could have met, but they would have infringed on family time, or they would have infringed on marriage time. And I chose the marriage time over that. So, you know, I guarantee there's probably some things or some people I might know, or some places I might be right now, but I wouldn't trade anything for the peace that I have at home. And that's what you need when everything, because
jobs, they come and go,
and
people, they come and go.
They come and go, and having peace at home, valuing peace, whatever you have to do, get peace in your house, because that's what you take to other people, and learning at home how to love without expecting anything in return. And so when I go to church, I love people and don't expect anything in return. I love them, I treat them well, because that's what love does. Same thing at home. I'm loving her not to get something back from her.
Right.
I'm doing things that please her because I love her. Now, the benefit is, you know, I'm just going to tell y'all right now, she got great benefits. I want to tell y'all right now.
You need help.
great benefit. But
Needs so much help.
Yeah.
You know what? That is a good point about anytime you are leading something, and if you're getting something from it outside of what God has purposed for you to do,
Mhm.
you're really not leading them. You're really manipulating them.
that's right.
Because
Yeah.
if I'm leading you for me to get oh, you're doing such a good job, or oh,
Little
you preached that
attaboy.
word good, or
Mhm.
oh, you
Mhm.
that podcast was so amazing. I mean, it for the wrong reason.
Yep.
It the thing that God always has us do, he has us produce even when no one else is watching, when we're not getting a hey, that boy, or hey, you're doing a good job. It was I don't even know where this is in the Bible, but I remember when the disciples came to Jesus, and John the Baptist was in prison, and he sends his disciples away because I think John the Baptist was like, ask if he is the Messiah, right? So the disciples are coming to ask, okay, so John the Baptist wants to know if you're the real Messiah, right? Because he just had a question. And he sent them away with yes, I am. He told them to go. But then he tells everybody around them after they had left how great John the Baptist was. And so it was something to me that says John the Baptist has always been great in God's eyes, but it was something that he just didn't want to puff him up with that. He wanted him to lead with purpose, not lead with
Mhm.
we don't lead with
That's
purpose. And so
perfect.
okay, go back and tell him he's in his right purpose. And so I think that's for
Good.
everybody here. Like, don't whatever you do, whatever God's called you to, don't do it for the praise of people. Don't do it for the praise of man. Because
Please
if they can
don't.
lift you up, they can tear you down.
Oh,
And that's
you
just
dropped
it.
the whole mic. Y'all know it's all like
But it is true. Very true.
That was a very good nugget. It
Oh
was
my goodness. And to think, I was just about to say, well, could you leave with some closing comments? So,
we got comments down here, babe. Let's see what we got.
oh my goodness.
Say what up, fam? I don't know. MCL.
MCL 74. Can you see that picture?
This is rich stuff.
Rich. This is rich stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Very much.
I don't know who that is. And then O'Shea said something again.
That's 420.
Oh no.
It's going up.
It's going up. It's going up for the
9 and 11.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was a good word, y'all. That was a good word. So anybody else got any questions for this blessed couple? Because before we close this thing out, because y'all we love you guys. I mean, we learn, and we're gaining so much wisdom off of what y'all said about ministry and how you're, and how you do that in the health of your marriage. Somebody got something? Oh, okay. That's our friend Maria. Yes. Hey,
we didn't know that MCL 75.
I didn't know what that was. Hey, girl, what's up? But yeah, so I'm taking notes. I'm looking at the web.
I
That's
like
good
that
stuff.
word.
That word fast.
That word fast.
And keeping your heart pure too. That I like keeping your heart pure.
You want that, because the biggest thing is we mature over time. So your words are time stamps, and you always want to make sure no matter where you are, no one stamps you in a place you weren't meant to be. So always make sure, because your perspective, everything's going to evolve. So be mindful of what you release, even in these immediate moments. That's why
what you post,
I want to say, what is Song of Solomon or Ecclesiastes? It says we shouldn't respond until we hear the whole conclusion of the matter. If God is working something out, just allow it to work itself out before you speak and give insight to it. And it'll prove out healthy for you long term.
That's good. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's speaking to my heart. Speaking to my heart.
That's good stuff.
Yes.
I'm telling my age right now. When I turned 51 this year, God took me to Psalm 51 and 10, and He said, "Put in me a clean heart, renew a right spirit within me." So God's been really challenging me to keep my heart pure. That's my challenge for this year, to keep my heart pure.
That's the challenge every year.
Yeah.
Every year. The longer you're in something, man, we about to do part 2, the second. This is like a believers convention. We're going hour number 2. But the longer you're in something, the harder it is to keep a clean heart. If it's in marriage, you can take each other for granted. If it's in ministry, you can take what you do for granted. The fight is staying childlike as you get older.
Yeah. That
First-
soft heart is hard. It's so hard to have a soft heart with people or have a tender heart, because that means it can easily be hurt again. And that's the thing. You never want your heart, that's the thing people prevent from doing, right? They're like, if I can not have my heart broken again or my heart hurt, let me self-protect. But I think there is a tenderness in leading strong, but also leading tender, leading with a soft heart. And it is a work. It's an inner work that you have to do as a leader. Why are you smiling?
It's good. I got some nuggets.
Oh yeah, y'all dropping them. Just dropping them because this helps even with parenting, with all across the board, parenting. That's why we say it with relationships, because this touchdowns on a lot of areas of your life.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's good stuff. You got anything else, babe?
I'm full.
I'm
Y'all
full
got
too.
me stuff. I didn't have my pencil. It's in my heart. I gotta write all this stuff down. But I'm gonna play this over. I'm definitely gonna play this over.
But we got to get over there and visit y'all and see y'all.
Yes.
Connect with y'all.
Come on, girl.
Yeah. So we'd love to connect with y'all in person.
We thank y'all so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you so much.
Taking out your time, and we'll definitely love to have you all back. We may have another topic or something like that, just to have you all back. But this has been really enjoyable. I hope it looks like our listening audience has enjoyed it as well. And I know they've gotten some. They said it's rich. That word has come up several times. Good, some great takeaways for tonight. So thank you so much. And as we close out, please y'all stay at the backstage for us, because we want to come back and connect with you all before we wrap up.
Okay. Yes.
Cool. Oh yeah, we going backstage. Turn up.
All right.
All right, we'll be right back. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking out your time tonight with B2G Live. I hope you enjoyed it and definitely took away some nuggets for tonight. Join us next month. We have another couple that's going to come on as well, and we have an amazing topic that we're praying out right now. But it'll be just what you need, and right on time. So. You want to show something real quick?
Yeah, show something right quick. So we want to come up here and tell you about our For Marriage Gathering in Huntsville, Alabama, October 11, 2025. It's going to be really, really nice. It's going to in a really nice facility. Me and the wife, we called it a gathering because it's going to be an intimate time for us to get refreshed, reignite, realign, reconnect, and realign.
Yes.
And so this is our very first gathering. So we're going to have information to give you. We want to show this right here.
If you can show it, babe. I don't know if did you share your screen?
Let me see that.
We'll see. He's trying something new. So we'll see if this
Okay, we're gonna show this banner. Okay.
This is our R4 just right here. It's R4 Marriage. You can pull it all the way up. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
R4 Marriage Gathering, and the link will be located. We'll have that posted later inside of our description, so you can check that out.
You can actually scan that QR code to register today.
Yes.
And it's a small fee, but the fee is worth so much. You get so much in there. Not only do you get a package and things of that nature, but you also have the ability to reconnect in your marriage as well as connect with other couples. It's going to be a good event, y'all. It's
and
going to be
we're
a great
partnering with another couple, the Barrels, this is actually their facility, their church, they're the pastors there. And we're looking forward to doing some amazing workshops, fun, food, and fellowship. So that's our we want to show that one, and then down here this picture, and there you go.
Another QR code right there, and you can see our wonderful shop, my beautiful bride.
Oh, you're so sweet.
R4 Marriage Gathering. So we look forward to that. So scan that and then get the information there, and we can take it from there.
Yes. So we thank you for joining us tonight with B2G Live with
Dennis
and Lonnie C. Y'all go and be blessed. Have a good evening.
All right.